Welcome to Constant Smiles.
What's up, everyone? It's great to be back. Welcome to this episode of the Constant Smiles podcast. I'm your host, Rich Constantine, with my co-host, Elijah Desmond, and a very exciting guest that we're so happy to have on the show today, Zee Rojas. Zee is an entrepreneur, marketing professional, and world traveler, and I'm so excited to introduce her. What's up, Zee?
Hi, what's up?
Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, so that they can get to know you a little bit. You have so many cool things going on that I don't want to. I can't go down that road. I want you to share everything.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Zee Rojas. I am originally from Ethiopia. So I was born there. I was adopted when I was 7, and I've been here since then. Moved to California on my own when I was 19. Got in my car, drove. Never been to California. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and I'm still here 14 years later. So it worked out really well.
That's awesome.
I've had many lives in LA, a lot of lives, real estate, waiting tables, different businesses, all the things that I feel like I've had more than 9 lives here, but it's been amazing.
That's awesome. So Zee, we always do this with all of our guests, and I didn't write yours down, and I want to hear off the cuff. We want to get to know our guests from the music they love. So if you could name one song of all time that really resonates with you, I want to hear what it is. Of all time.
I don't know. Tones and I've really been into all the music, but I don't know if it's of all time, but right now that's my jam.
Okay. So it's
all music from Tones and I.
Tones and I, what is it called?
Tones and I, it's a band. I guess, is it a band or it's a girl that sings, but I think the band is called Tones and I.
Tones. So when I type in Tones and I, look, I'm looking like DJ Clueless. Yeah. I'm looking like DJ Clueless, Rich. You see, I'm a DJ.
Like Dance Monkey. The Dance Monkey song. This song, yeah.
Dream that someday I would just fly away, and I always knew I couldn't stay.
Oh yeah, she's cool.
So I don't know if it's really a band, right? The name of the band. Okay, yeah.
Love it. Yes, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that as well. So, and I think you're an author, right?
I'm not an author. My husband's an author.
He's an author. Okay.
Yeah, I can't write.
You can't. Oh my goodness. Okay. You've been featured in a book though, the Little Brand book. Okay. Tell us about that.
It was, they brought a collection of people that they thought were inspiring and doing things in the community and people to look up to. And it was such an honor to have been included. They had Oprah in the book as well. So.
Oh, wow. Anytime you can be in a book with Oprah, that's a serious.
I mean, it wasn't like an interview with Oprah, but that was one of their people too, that they found influential. So it was kind of fun to be featured in that. So it's a coffee table book. Of course I told my parents to buy it and put it on their coffee table, but
you had mentioned, coming to LA at such a young age. Is it what you expected, or did you go into it expecting the unexpected and hoping for it to be an adventure?
I think that I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was sunny, and that was pretty much my only deciding factor. I wanted to move to New York. I knew I wanted to be in a big city. So I'm from a really small town, and I was like, I don't belong in a small town. But I didn't know where I wanted to be. And so before I moved, it was between New York and California. And the only reason I ended up in California is I was like, well, I don't know if I have to sleep in my car because I had no friends, I had no job, I had no money. I was like, well, at least I know I'm going to find parking and it's warm. So I think that was like my only deciding factor why I ended up here instead of New York. And it's worked out. It's been quite an adventure for sure, but I don't see myself leaving. I love it here.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Where did you drive from? I know you're from Ethiopia, but where?
Indiana. So I grew up in Indiana until I was 19. Yeah.
Wow.
Like cornfield town in Crawfordsville.
How far is that from Maryville, Indiana?
I don't know, but it's like 30 minutes. It's like 30 or 40 minutes from Indianapolis.
Okay.
So northwest of Indy a little bit. No.
Cool. Do you know where Noblesville is?
I do, but I don't know how far it is.
Don't know how far it is?
Yeah. But I don't think it's far though, because yeah.
So we owe you a huge congratulations because you just had like some major life change. Do you want to tell everybody about like what just happened to you?
I had a baby. I had my son Remy.
Congratulations.
Actually 3 months ago, a couple days ago. So he's literally everything. So
Aw.
it's every oh, there he goes. He's crying. It's everything I thought it would be. So it's amazing. You don't really know what to expect. Right. And I'm feeling grateful that it's been like a really incredible journey.
Do you have a big family back in Indiana?
I have 2 sisters. And then they have two. One of them has 2 boys. One of them has 1 boy. So everyone in my family has had boys. And then my husband, his brother had a boy. So we've yet to have a girl within our 2 families.
That's awesome.
Does your family still live in Indiana? Are you the only one that left?
No, they did leave. Everyone left, but my parents went to Alaska. My dad was born there, so they.
Oh wow!
And everyone's like, "What? Why?" My parents went to Alaska. My other sisters went to different states, but we all left. So I don't really ever have a reason to go back.
Gotcha.
No.
Gotcha.
I would love to hear about your marketing business. I own a marketing business myself, but it's for dental professionals. Okay. I want to hear about like your marketing business and how you're different than others.
So I started it about 3 years ago. I was doing real estate for 4 or 5 years, and I was selling restaurants, bars, pretty much hospitality, because restaurants, I don't know, I waited tables for a very long time, and I just really love that industry. So I went from waiting tables for many years to selling restaurants for many years. For short term, operated a restaurant, and then I kind of got burnt out on the real estate. You make decent money, but it can get a little bit not fulfilling, I guess. And a lot of, people have you running around like a headless chicken, but they don't actually have the funds or the means or, so you're wasting a lot of time. And I just got burnt out on that. So I wanted to start my own thing. And I also wanted to do it for the freedom of just having my own business, my own hours, my, everything, just the lifestyle I wanted, knowing we were going to have kids. But so I do marketing, PR, social media, web, photography, everything for restaurants. So I stayed in the hospitality industry. And I was doing really well until the pandemic hit. And of course, restaurants were the first, not first, but really hit hard. Right. And I'm a luxury business. So, all my clients disappeared for a year, which there was no better time to be pregnant.
Right.
But at the same time, it was kind of scary because you don't know when and how they're going to get back on their feet. Am I going to have to pivot and start something else or look towards a different job? Thankfully, I'm back to working as of a few weeks ago. I got my post-pandemic client and I feel like we're coming back. So yeah, that's what I do.
Pregnancy pivot.
One of the things that we like to talk about with our guests is the ability to stay positive and keep smiling and stay in the present and knowing that better days are to come. What are some of the things that you did during that time when you really didn't know what to expect to get through it and to know that brighter days were ahead?
I mean, I know it's such a hard time for the entire world, but me personally, I realize that never are we going to have this opportunity again to just do absolutely nothing, not be anywhere, not have responsibilities. So I kind of just pivoted into thinking like that and just being like, you know what, this is probably, knock on wood, never going to happen again where the entire world shuts down. So I tried to enjoy it as much as I could. I was with my husband. We are kind of homebodies anyway. So it wasn't a huge transition for us, but I was just going through my pregnancy and knowing that eventually this is all going to end, and we just made the best of it.
I love the name of your agency. How did you decide?
I love this story. So this is why I wanted to give my business like a name that meant something, because I actually really like telling the story. But there's a movie called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Old movie, like, I don't know, in the 50 years. It's very old. I don't know how old, but I watched it when I was a teenager, and it changed my life. It's my favorite movie to this day. It's about a girl that runs away from home. She becomes an orphan, and I kind of felt like that was I didn't run away from home, but I really resonated with a lot of her story. She runs away on her own, joins a circus, becomes a horse diving showgirl, and then loses her eyesight during one of the dives, but she perseveres, and it's a great movie. I just love it. So when I was naming my business, I was just like, I wanted to have a little bit more meaning than just like so-and-so agency. And that was the movie that changed my life and got me to move to a big city. So I was like, well, that makes total sense.
That's cool.
So that's where it came from. Yeah. It's a great movie. You should watch it. Very inspiring movie.
Have you ever reached out to like the producers of the movie and said,
no,
like,
but I wish, that's a great idea.
right.
They're probably somewhere in LA. So that's a great idea.
They might do part 2 with you in it. They might feature you in part 2.
Oh my God, I can't act. It'd be horrible.
That's awesome. So before the pandemic hit and you were living life as an entrepreneur, living your best life, it sounds like with entrepreneurship, it gets very stressful. Yeah. And what did you do to like manage your stress and keep your focus pre-pandemic?
I just focused on the good stuff. You know, my husband was working. He was, thankfully, COVID didn't really affect him as much. So I was really grateful for that. And just trying to know that it's all temporary. The PUA definitely helped that they did unemployment for small businesses. That took a little bit of pressure, not a lot, but that was better than nothing. But honestly, just knowing it was temporary and doing my best just to not let it swallow me.
That's awesome.
So you left what was familiar to you at such a young age, and you just had that adventurous spirit. So
that's my baby crying. I'm sorry.
What's that?
The baby's crying. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Part of being a mom now.
So you've always had that adventurous spirit, it seems like. So the chances of you being an entrepreneur were pretty high. What would you say to somebody that, is scared to take that leap, to leave what's familiar to them, and what advice would you give them to make them go ahead and move forward with their dreams?
I read a quote like a couple weeks ago. I don't remember how it went, but it was something about like, you wait to get all your ducks in a row, you're never going to cross the street. And that's kind of how I feel about everything in life. You just have to do it and let the parachute open on the way down. And I know that's not possible for a lot of people, but if you wait trying to get everything perfect in your life to, until you have enough money, or until you have this, or until you have this to start, you're probably never going to start, because there's never going to be a good time to be an entrepreneur. It's really hard. It's really stressful. And it's very, it's up and down. You just don't know. You're going to have really great days. You're going to have really low days. Thick skin and just doing it. You just have to go for it. Let the parachute open on the way down. That's
great advice. I laughed inside when you said earlier that you wanted the freedom of starting your own business, because it gives you the freedom to be creative, but you realize you don't have much.
Yeah. I mean, as far as security, it's definitely not it doesn't provide security, but it does provide a little more freedom. The security is a little scary part, because you don't know, you're gambling. But if it's something that you believe in and are passionate in, then you're going to work a little bit harder to make sure that it works out.
Yeah. I think the greatest thing is that when you do that, you're gambling on yourself, because you believe in yourself, which is a really cool thing.
And my other favorite thing that someone told me is you can either work really, really hard for someone else's dreams, or you can work really, really hard for your own dreams.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of work.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Did you have somebody that inspired you, growing up? And do you have somebody that's like your mentor now that you like really look up to, you're close with, or they don't even know you, but you follow them a lot and they really inspire you?
All my friends that are entrepreneurs honestly inspire me. I have so many really great people around me. And I think I've naturally gravitated to people that I wanted to be like. So I can genuinely say most of my friends are very inspiring to me. They have businesses, they're successful, they do a lot of things. And I'm a big believer that you are the sum of the people that you hang out with, or that you're surrounded with. So most of my friends are very inspiring to me. All of them, really.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
What do you do to keep your health up? Do I mean,
Oh, I work out all the time. Everyone thinks I'm crazy.
tell us about that. Your eating habits, your health.
Yeah, I worked out through the day. I mean, right before I went to labor. So
What kind of stuff do you do?
For 40 weeks, I worked out.
Wow.
Everything, hit weights. Before the pandemic, I was at the gym every morning. For a while, I did this thing about getting up at like 5:30 and getting in the gym at 6 before the day started. But
That's
I
my
genuinely love it. Love it. Love
That's
it.
the
Love
best.
it. It is. You just like, you're just ready to go for the day.
Oh my God.
Aesthetics is a byproduct, but what it does for your mental state, I mean, my husband will tell you, I am grouchy if I don't work out. So like, I need it for my energy and just it's a mood booster and it's an energy booster. And I think most people associate working out with like being fit or a six pack or this or that, but it's really your mental state too. It does wonders for it. So for me, it was really important. It's a priority for both my husband and I. It's a non-negotiable in our relationship.
That's awesome.
We both give each other time to make sure that we work out, and it's an hour or 30 minutes. Like everyone could do it if we wanted to.
That's crazy
That's so
that you
fun.
said 5:30. So I went to the gym this morning at 8:00.
What, did you think that was early?
Yes. And I ran to the gym though, got my mile in, and I actually work out. I have my neighbor is my workout partner. And when we got into the gym, we're used to like signing these papers for COVID waivers. And they're like, you don't have to sign them today and you don't have to wear masks. Winning.
Wow.
Right. And so then they're like, you don't have to wear a mask if you got your COVID shot vaccine. And so then they went on and said, we're actually starting to open the gym instead of 8 a.m., 5:30. And my workout partner was over here on a 10 about it. And I'm like, listen, 5:30 is crazy. I talked to so many people that say they get up super early.
Yeah,
I'm just not that guy. But I'm going to try it. I'm like, we can switch one of the 3 workout days to 5:30 and I'm going to try it. But if I don't like it, I'm back to bed.
Well, I noticed I did it because I noticed that sometimes I let the day, like something would come up. And the thing is, something on an entrepreneur, something's always going to come up. Right. So I just was like, I'm going to try just for a few months. And then I got really used to it. That is just like, I woke up every morning and it was just the best way to start my day. So I wasn't doing this forever. But before the pandemic, I had like a few months. Every day I went. And every day I did an Instagram story just to hold myself accountable. And people were like, you're crazy. But it felt great. Like I never felt tired through the day.
I know your husband loves working out too. And you had mentioned that you guys have that respect to allow each other the time to do that. Were you an athlete growing up as well? Or did you just catch the bug somehow?
No, I was an athlete. I wasn't really into like fitness per se, but I did soccer, basketball, baseball, volleyball. I did all the sports growing up, track. So I think it was just in me to stay fit. But as far as like gym going, I never really got into that till like my mid-20s, I guess, mid to late 20s. But my 30s, it became a non-negotiable for me. My 20s, I was like, oh, when I make it, I'll make it. Now I'm a little bit older. I don't know. It's just different. My body really needs it to survive. 30s are hard.
I'm so thankful for sports and athletics growing up because I think it translates so well, because when people say when you get busy, you don't have time to do that. But if you've made time for it your whole life, then it's kind of easy to carve out that section of your day. And then when you get older, you start to realize the other benefits outside of the fitness and stuff.
And you don't need a lot of time. I think people think they have to go to the gym for an hour or 2 hours or do all this cardio, but some of my workouts, I do it all. 14 months I've been doing it in my living room, but some of them are 25 minutes and I'm still drenched in sweat. So it's definitely doable.
So
go
ahead.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Through the pandemic, I continue to work out. But the question is like, did I continue to eat good? No. So I stayed working out, and like I had lost, like when Rich and I first met each other, I was walking around looking like a whale and I lost 60 pounds.
Good job.
And then basically I went through the pandemic, kept it off. And then I kept working out, but I stopped eating right. And the travel started picking up and I gained half of my weight back. And Rich stopped holding me accountable. Yeah, I know, right? And so now I'm back 30 pounds from where I should be. And so like, what keeps you on track from a food standpoint? Or do you just have one of those metabolisms that you don't gain weight? You just look great and you just eat what you want?
Heck no, I wish. I mean, I look at a cookie and I feel like I gained a couple pounds. No, I definitely don't have a high metabolism, but it's when you do something long enough, they say, what is it, 21 days to start a habit? Mm-hmm. It's when you do something long enough, if you can commit long enough to making a change into your life, it becomes a habit. So I think for me, I thrive better just mentally, energetically when I eat healthy. So it's not even like a thought really for me of struggling to eat healthy because I've been doing it for so long. Right. So for me, it's just habit. And it wasn't always like that, obviously. But again, once you do something for a short period of time, it becomes a habit. So just make that change. And I made that change at some point in my life that now for years, I will choose a salad over a cookie. And I will genuinely love that salad. That's the thing, though. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself, but I will still eat the cookie, so there's balance. But you cannot work out a bad diet. No amount of working out is gonna go around a bad diet.
I'm a struggling example of that.
Do you have, Zee, do you have any other consistent routines that you use to help mentally? Like, do you read regularly or meditate or visualize or do any journal or anything like that?
I've been into podcasts lately. I was a big reader. And then during the pandemic, I actually read a lot of books, which again, that was really nice. I was a big reader growing up. And then, living in LA, things are always happening. You don't make time for it. So during the pandemic, I think I went through 20 books, which was amazing. And now I listen to podcasts. There's a lot of inspirational podcasts that really pump me up, fire me up.
Which ones?
Yeah, which ones?
Oh, I'd have to log in to my podcast. I was like, I don't have them off the top of my head. But podcasts have been really great. And then another thing I've been doing is Spanish. So my husband's Colombian. He speaks Spanish. And we want it's weird, but this is how I go to sleep every night. Then we want our son to be bilingual. And obviously I can't teach him. And my husband's not a good teacher when it comes to language.
I'm not throwing him under the bus.
So I am throwing him under. He won't even teach me. So I've been listening to a podcast every night of Spanish, of my Spanish lessons before I go to bed. And I have it during the day, during my walks. I know it's weird to say that's like meditating, but it really is. So I've
tried it out at all yet?
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard. English is not even my first language, but I can't. It's really hard. I've been trying to do this the entire pandemic. Finally, I got into a podcast teacher 2 months ago, but before that, I was trying to do Rosetta Stones, and I couldn't keep my focus to study. It's hard. It's a lot of work.
Wow, that's awesome. So we always have. I don't know if you realize this, but even though I have a lot of businesses, serial entrepreneur, I'm actually a dental hygienist, and Rich is a dentist. And so we always ask our guests, if you were to travel and only bring one dental product with you, you were to go out of state, what would that dental product be?
I mean, toothpaste? Would I feel like it'd be toothpaste, right?
You can use your finger.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, you can use your finger if you have the toothpaste.
Yeah, there's no right answer.
Mouthwash, but mouthwash wouldn't get the gunk off your teeth, would it? I'd say
toothpaste is a good call.
I'd say toothpaste because you could find something to brush with.
Okay.
No, there you go.
Speaking of, you have a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's coming from a dentist. Look.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yep. We went to the dentist. Our dentist, a couple, I forgot when, but I mean, I shouldn't tell you guys this, but I rarely floss. And my husband is a religious flosser. And the dentist told me I had perfect teeth. And he's like, well, Ruben, you might have a cavity or so. And he flosses like day and night. So I thought it was really funny that the non-flosser.
Yeah, and that's my license plate. Like my car says Mr. Floss and my wife's SUV says We Floss.
Oh, that's so funny. I've been getting better though. So
we have so many at our practice. We have so many couples that are competitive like that on the cavities, especially when they come at the same.
Yeah, my doctor's
day.
like, "You've been flossing." I was like, "Yeah."
That's hilarious. And as a hygienist, I can tell you that there's so many patients that come in and say they've been flossing, and the minute that we hit those gums with the floss, we don't tell them they're lying, but we know that they told us a little fairy tale. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Well, what's next for you on your journey?
I started back, which is great. So I'm going to be doing that, being a mompreneur, and then just take care of my son, which is a full-time job being a mom. So I have 2 full-time jobs now.
Yep.
Awesome. Good stuff. So if you were to recommend a couple of inspirational people like yourself that you're friends with to join us on the Constant Smiles podcast, who would your call outs be?
Bregan Jane. I find her super inspiring. She's an entrepreneur, owns her own business. She's a single mom of 2 and always is positive on her Instagram and in real life. And my friend Sarah, who's a concierge, always has really positive messages, and she talks about travel and how to help people travel. And she's kept everybody in the know through COVID about the new rules, regulations, and she's just a really, really positive person. So
awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. We appreciate you coming on as a guest, and we will make sure to share the episode with you when it comes out.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you guys.
Nice to talk to you. Thanks everybody for joining us. And remember, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thanks so much, Zee.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Constant Smiles.